All right. Today we're here with my good buddy George McClintock of Connecticut.
Now, yeah.
Now you're in Connecticut, yeah.
Used to be Brooklyn.
Very good friend of mine, very free with his knowledge, taught me a lot about photography, especially film photography. You may not remember it, but I do.
Yeah, I'm old. I don't remember much.
We're going to get interviewed today to ask you about your photographic experience. What is your earliest memory of what drew you to photography?
Oh, that I can actually answer. When I was 8, my parents had an encyclopedia, World Book Encyclopedia, I think it was called. And I was flipping through the P, you know, the model, the P. And I remember the picture, and it was of an enlarger with a cone of light. And I asked my mother, hey, what is this? This looks pretty good. And she said, forget about it, kid. And anyway, then 3 years later, the really nice lady down the street divorced the bum and married a guy who turned out to be a legendary photojournalist. And he took us all into the darkroom one day and showed us all how to make pictures and develop film, print pictures. And, you know, I never stopped. That was almost 60 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, scary.
What was your first photography job that made you some money, if you can remember?
I've never made that much money with photography, actually. I've shot some weddings. I've done some portraits. I don't know, mostly it was for myself as an art form, which is kind of a misnomer too, I think, but nowadays anyway.
But your street photography is so good. What got, you know, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
What got you into street photography?
You know, I don't know. You know, it's funny. Street photography I always thought was like a generic term that academics made up. Because all the great photographers always, I mean, the very first photographs were in the street. Well, I think the very first photograph was of the street from somebody's window. And he probably made exposure for an hour or something. I don't know. But, you know, if you look at the great photographers, European, American, whatever, they're all in the street. Roy de Carava, for example, did fabulous pictures in the street. Gordon Parks. A lot of great, you know, Cartier-Bresson, people like that. Robert Frank, of course. But I looked at everything, and I don't really have a favorite photographer except Steve over there, probably. But and then Paul will be a close second. But I really, other than that, I mean, I don't really have a favorite. I really kind of like it all, or not, depending on what it is. But it's not like one particular style or genre of photography attracts me. I guess the pictures that I take are the ones I take because I can.
Right.
I think I just bumped your microphone, by the way, but
yeah.
Whatever.
You'll ruin everything, George.
Okay. Well, that's
You're trying to do it on purpose.
Par for the course. I know.
Sabotage
Delete me.
You. Sabotage you.
Delete me.
What do you feel about the equipment? What do you think about the whole digital revolution? I mean, you started out with the big. You said you've been doing this for 60 years, so you must be familiar with some of those big blunderbuss, what I consider called blunderbuss film cameras, like the Speed Graphic and
Sure.
Those big, huge things that you have to carry with a big strap around your neck. With bellows and everything.
View cameras. Yeah, I have those. I use all formats from Minox, which is really small, to 35 millimeter, 2 1/4, Rolleiflex, and then large format. I have a Speed Graphic, which I like to use. It's great for in the street, actually. It's a 4x5 negative. It's a nice big negative, but you're in the street. And that's how those photojournalists back in the day got those fabulous pictures, because they had that great big negative.
That great big negative that catches all of the detail.
But now, my God, I mean, the digital's incredible. I mean, I have a 50 megapixel camera, and it's spectacular. And you know, and my camera's old. They're making 100 megapixel cameras now. For the
Hasselblad, I think, has one, and I think Fuji has one also.
Yeah, well, of course, they cost thousands upon thousands of dollars, but yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I mean, I still use film, but only for posterity. Now, what does that mean? It means that I don't expect to live forever, and I'm not getting any younger, so therefore, what survives me probably won't be my digital pictures, unless I print them. The print might survive me, but who's to say that, 20 years from now or whatever, somebody finds a disk drive that my pictures are on, who's to say that there'll even be the technology to view those pictures? I mean, the technology changes, right?
Right.
So for me, it's like I'm saying, at my age especially, I shoot film, I save the negatives. Even if I don't have the print, the negative is there. If I shoot digital, if I really like the picture, I make a print. So now I've, got them stacked floor to ceiling. But, and that's for posterity because nobody's beating down my door to buy them now.
Right.
So maybe someday. Anyway, we'll see.
Yeah, I remember seeing an article in a paper a while back about, I forget which generation they were calling, because I don't know the whole Gen X, Gen Y, whatever the...
Gen X, that's you, bub.
That's me, Gen X?
I think so.
I think they were saying Gen X was the last generation to have physical prints, or have to have gotten physical prints from film if they wanted to get pictures.
I think Gen Xers are like 40 to, I think if you're born in 68 or 69 or after, you're Gen X, I think.
I don't know what it is.
I'm not clear on that either, because I'm sort of a late boomer.
Well, I remember when I told you, I went down when I was doing this family tree project, I have an original negative of my grandfather. It's a young man sitting in the living room in one of the houses that he owned. Not the one where we shot. There's another one that's no longer there. It's the school stands on it. It's a beautiful, I think it's a 6x7.
Or 9 probably. That was a really standard format in the old days, 6x9.
Right. Yeah, I was looking to get a 6x9 camera, but they look horrible just to play with, because I have those rolls of film that I'm not even using. I was trying to get you to use them, but you didn't want to use them either. Mr. Film Man.
Well, they're great film. It's just that I'm finding it's getting so expensive.
It is.
And I have boxes of unexposed film. I got to use it all up and then see.
Yeah, me too. That's the film that I was trying to get you to use was sitting on the mantelpiece for probably several years now.
Put it in the fridge.
I know, I should. There's nothing else in there. I don't cook. Over the years, what is your favorite analog camera to work with? Let's say you were going out on a street. Let's say you were just going to go out on a street to take some pictures. Which camera would you reach for first?
That's like, you are what you eat, right? That's the old phrase, or you are what you read. Like today, because it was an honor to shoot with Holly, I brought my Rollie. So the Rollie Flex is probably my, the one that I want. Well, I want to be cremated, but if I were to be buried, bury me with my Rollie.
Right.
That's probably the one. But in truth, in '85, I worked as a private investigator in France. I took my mother's Pentax ME, which is a really nice 35 millimeter camera. It was a amateur camera, but really nicely made. It died a few months ago. I found one for super cheap online. I bought it, and that's all I use now for weeks.
Pentax ME?
Yeah, the Pentax ME. And then, but otherwise, no, I've used them all. Nikon, Hasselblad. Geez, I like them all. They're all fabulous, especially studio work with a Hasselblad. Once you use one, you realize, so that's how they did it. Mm-hmm. They use the Hasselblad in the studio.
Those are the old mechanical ones, like the 501. This is a 501 CM.
Yeah, mine's a 500 CM, but yeah, there's a 501, a 503, a bunch of different models.
Okay.
But yeah, they're still great. And they're going up in price too, which is good because I probably gonna sell mine. But whatever.
For the younger people who might be watching this, tell them what a Rollie camera is and what the format is.
Well, it's a twins lens. It's a 6x6 centimeter or 2¼ by 2¼ square, and it's a twin lens reflex. It's in my bag. I could bring it out and show it if you want.
Yeah.
Here, just bring me the bag. Just hand me the bag, if you don't mind. It's heavy. Careful.
Be careful, Holly.
It's really heavy. Yeah. Anyway, I love the Rollie. And it's kind of so I got an opportunity to go to France when I was 25. And I actually ended up living there for 4 years, and I worked as a musician. But I always did photography, and I didn't have the camera I was using before I went was a 5x7-inch view camera, the kind with the bellows. And the hide behind.
And you had to hide behind the curtain.
And I couldn't take that to France. And my girlfriend at the time was a big Diane Arbus fan, and she used a 2¼ square Mamiya camera, I think. So we went to B&H Photo, or wherever the equivalent in Minneapolis, and I bought one of these.
There we go.
And this is a Rollie, twins lens reflex. So, and it's interesting, it doesn't have what they call parallax correction. And so if you get too close, if I'm doing a portrait and I fill the frame with your head, for example, it'll, you know, cut off your forehead if you get too close, because it won't correct for that. But it's really great, you know, waist level, or you can do this sports level thing and stare at it like that. It's really, really great. The quality is fantastic.
That's the same kind of camera that the that woman that used to walk around.
Vivian Meyer.
Yes, Vivian.
She used. Oh no! Listen, Irving Penn. I think he did his famous series, portraits of whatever, small world, people in a small world. I can't remember the title. Fabulous portraits. I've seen pictures, installation, like pictures of the shoot. It's one of these on a tripod. Richard Avedon, he's famous for the 8x10 pictures, but he actually used a Rollie a lot as well. He also used, you know, 35 millimeter. All those guys used all the cameras. Gordon Parks, I think I've got a picture of him somewhere with a Rollie. Yeah, they were like that was the industry standard for quite a while. Now it's just, you know, when you buy them,
curiosity.
Yeah, and when they break, you hope you can find somebody who can fix it.
Yeah, that's why I got you my pen. That's why I gave you my Pentax.
Yeah, I still have it actually. That's a great camera.
I know. I heard, but it's so heavy.
It's so heavy. I can't carry it anymore. But it's a fabulous camera. I almost brought it today, and then I thought no, because if I have to park a half a mile away, I can't carry it.
Yeah, I know.
So I didn't bring it. I should have.
And finally, what are your plans for your photography going forward?
God, I don't know. I wish I knew. I mean, I feel like I have all of these different things I've done over the years.
I keep telling you should put out a book for your street photography, and you're like, street photography doesn't sell.
Well, but it's very difficult now. It's extremely, unless you do like a blurb or edition one.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, I might do that actually.
Self-publish.
Actually, what I think I'm going to do, I've been doing a lot of writing lately, and I think what I'm going to do is write about the pictures. Like the photo critics, I can name a few, but I won't. I'm writing about one now. He's considered the best photography critic in the world, and I'm panning him. I'm very unhappy with what he writes. So when I'm reading it, I think, yeah, you know, maybe I should just write about my own pictures. And then if I come up with something that, you know, I am a legend in my own mind. I mean, I know that. But if I write it and it turns out that gee, it is as legendary as I think it should be, then maybe I'll do a blurb or edition one or one of those good presses.
Okay.
You know, digital presses. I don't know. Other than that, I just feel like I can't really afford to. You know, I was doing wet plate collodion for a while, and God, that's just a fabulous technique. It's so hands-on. Everything is by hand. You make the emulsion. Everything you do. But it's expensive. I mean,
yeah.
You have silver. You're pouring silver onto a metal plate. I mean, that's very expensive. And then I thought, oh, I'd love to do a platinum palladium portfolio of all my Paris pictures. Jeez. And so I started studying that, and then I lost my job and ran out of money, and then that was the end of that.
Right.
Because, you know, to learn the skill, print with platinum, you know, the way Kenro Izu does, for example, or, you know, there are plenty of others, I'm sure, the prints are so magnificent. They're so beautiful. But to learn, the learning curve is so expensive. Yeah. Oh yeah, let's dump some platinum on this thing, hope we expose it right. Oops, blew it. There goes however much it costs for that little drop of platinum. And when you multiply that by hundreds, it gets very, very expensive.
Yeah, more expensive than the regular film stuff that you were talking about.
Yeah. So
that's only gotten more expensive because more people are doing it anymore. Younger people are getting back into I know the younger people like their Instax stuff. A lot of the models love their little Instax prints.
Oh yeah, they're great. I love it. I almost brought that today, but I couldn't find the camera.
It was a little tiny little thing.
I moved out of my studio, and it's like everything's in a box, and it was like, oh God, yeah, because I thought about that Instax. They're so fun, and you can just take it, snap it, and you know, give it right there.
Yeah.
And now, I just found out they have an Instax back for a Hasselblad. So let's say that you're in the studio and you have a tricky lighting situation and you don't want to blow your expensive film. So you shoot the Instax. This is what they used to do in the old days with Polaroid, when they made 4x5 Polaroid and 8x10 Polaroid. They'd take the test shot with the Polaroid,
Right.
and they go, oh yeah, that's right, and then they'd put in the film and shoot the film. I'm sure
Right.
guys like Avedon and all must have done it. I mean, for decades, that's what people did.
Right.
So, you know, when I saw that thing about the Hasselblad, I thought, oh God, you know, I'd really like one of those. And then I thought,
How
yeah,
much is the cost?
oh, $200 or $300. But then I thought, well, wait a minute, I'm going to sell the Hasselblad, right? Oh yeah, right, I'm going to sell it. So I guess I better not buy some back for it that I won't be able to.
Don't be a gearhead like me.
I know, it's terrible.
Steve wants to come in my apartment and take all my stuff.
Actually, I want Steve's stuff too. It's like,
Neither do I. I like having options.
yeah, but you know, the real thing about photography now isn't the gear. It's not even the pictures anymore. It's the books. Photography books. There's so many, and they're so good. I mean, every day. It's an outrage. I'm on these mailing lists. Since I ran out of money, I'm trying to get myself off the mailing list, so I have them go into the junk folder. But it's like every day. Some company, they make, you know what the trick is now, I've noticed? Some, like Stanley Barker. It's a fabulous photography book publisher in England. That's the name of it, Stanley Barker. I guess one of them Stanley and the other one's Barker, what do I know? Anyway, their books are magnificent. I mean, they're absolutely magnificent. So you spend $75, you get the book. And you go, wow, this is really, really great. And then or worse, you get the email and you said, get this book, and you go, oh yeah, you see the 4 or 5 pictures online, you think, oh yeah, this is really great. So then you go to the website to order the book and it's already sold out. Mm-hmm. So the book that costs $75 suddenly is $150 if you can find it in the secondary market. I have a couple books I bought that, you know, I'm not gonna sell them, but I looked one of them up, it was $1,000. Online. I thought, gee, I should try and sell mine, but whatever. The thing is that all of that's changing now because the companies have figured it out. So the Stanley Barker, what did they do? There's a guy named Trent Park, brilliant photographer, magnificent, phenomenal. I once bought a book of his, it was like $50. I sold it for $150 when it ran out, when the edition was closed. And I mean, it was okay. I liked it a lot, but not enough. I needed the $150.
You're scratching the mic.
Sorry. Anyway, the thing is, so you know what they're doing now, though? They say, okay, they take a guy that's super popular like that, they print 1,000 copies or 1,500, whatever, and they sell out before the book's even released, before it's published.
Pre-orders.
They're pre-orders. They're sold. Gone. Except maybe 50 were going to go to some store or whatever. Dashwood in New York gets a few. But then they're gone. So you know what the publishers are coming? They're then putting out a second edition right away.
Right.
I mean, they never used to do that. So it's like they're killing the secondary market, right?
Right.
At the same time as they're sort of recreating it, because it's why don't they just print if they think it's going to sell 5,000 copies, print 5,000 copies.
Exclusivity.
Yeah.
People like exclusivity in their art.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what the question is, but yeah, maybe someday I'd like to do a book, assuming that.
Well, let me know. I'll buy one.
Well,
I bought Dave's book. I bought Mikey's monograph.
Well, you're a better man than I am, Gunga Din. That's all I can say. I just can't afford it. My wife's going to kill me, actually. Don't put that in YouTube.
I will.
I can't afford it anymore. I mean, they're so, Which?
I bought Dave's books too.
Yeah?
Yeah, Dave's book is excellent.
There's so many just fabulous books. And they publish their own books, though, right? They weren't published by somebody else, right? Or they were?
I believe it was.
I think Dave's own was self-published. May have been self-published. I think he did the layout himself. It was one of those things.
Mikey's wasn't, was it?
Mikey's was. I don't think Mikey's was. Mikey's was a monograph. I think that came out under a publishing house from England. It was something called the Quite Delightful Project. I can't remember exactly. I know I bought both.
Oh, no, I remember now. Yeah.
That was real. It was good. I love the texture of the pages, the paper. It's something I hadn't seen before in printing.
I'm telling you, it's like there's so much experimentation going on. I mean, you can buy books, the concertina folds, so they open up wide like this, and if you have the space, you can lay it out and kind of. I mean, that's a very interesting way, or not. I mean, it's a concertina, so you can flip it like a regular book if you want. There's a lot of their experimenting with different kinds of things that fold out in different ways, different paper textures, as you just said.
Well, they got to make it interesting because people aren't really investing in art anymore. Not as much. There was a gallery that was opening right up on Franklin Avenue, right around the corner from where I live, that
They closed?
a month,
Oh, it's too bad.
less than a month.
I don't know, pandemic hurt a lot of places for sure, but
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, George, thanks very much for the conversation today and the interview. I know you had fun. I can tell by that big smile on your face.
Yeah, it was fun. I thought you were going to ask me embarrassing questions.
No,
you
what would
know?
I do that for? That's Holly's job.
But it is really fun, though. It was great
Thanks
to see
very
everybody.
much. And you'll be looking forward to seeing this on my YouTube channel.
You're scaring me now, Paul.
Have a good one, George. I hope to see you again soon.
Yeah, me too. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Paul.